when it began on October 23rd, from what I'm reading, the people who lived there said that the gas company didn't really inform them for a full week afterwards. And they were sending people around kind of checking for the odor, but they weren't really letting them know what happened until a week later.
Right. I think that question about the company response really needs to be a part of the investigation into what happened, both to cause the well as well as what the response was from the company as well as from the state agencies. And I know that a root cause analysis into the emissions is underway, and it would be really tragic if the company was found to be responsible for hiding the ball. We think generally there was some downplaying of the significance of this event from the very beginning. The first sets of emissions estimates showed that this was incomparable to any other emissions that we've seen in the state. And so I certainly think that if the company knew or should have known and decided not to know how big it was and downplayed it, that's a real problem.
Certainly is. Let's talk a little bit about this safety valve that seems to be at the root of the issue. So we've got this well, and it was 8,000 feet deep?
Yeah, about 8,500 feet deep.
Okay, so it had this safety valve in the bottom of it, and then it needed repair. So they take the safety valve out. They then decide that since it is not a critical well, meaning I think that's the term they use because it's not so close to homes or schools, that, hey, you know what? We're in compliance with existing regulations. Let's just skip the safety valve. Am I understanding this correct? Is that what happened?
Well, back in the 1970s, things were a little different then than they are now. Unfortunately, the regulations haven't really been updated since then. So the facility documents do show that there was some equipment that was removed from the well and that it was not replaced. And it's true that this is not designated as a critical well. But there's also a line of inquiry and some engineering documents and really supported evidence based on well operations that say that even if you had a safety valve of that nature, it doesn't necessarily mean that they could have prevented this from happening. This major emission source, you may have had some well blowouts, something of that nature, and you might still have had this type of event because safety valves sometimes can fail, they themselves can leak, they're the source of a lot of inspections, and they need updating and care. And so when we think about what the root cause is, I don't think we can prejudge that the removal of the safety valve is the smoking gun of what went wrong here. I certainly think it is one factor that needs to be considered. Also, I think the facility inspections of the well, have they been doing mechanical integrity testing and pressure testing to the tune of what industry standards say is needed in order to maintain and evaluate the integrity of the well? We know, for example, that there are documents that the facility has filed with the Public Utilities Commission that has said they have noticed a negative integrity trend in wells at this site, which means they know that there's corrosion and problems with wells occurring at Aliso Canyon. Should they have held themselves to a higher standard of care than what basic minimum out-of-date regulations require? Probably so. And I think that all has to go into the analysis. I don't think we can say just the safety valve is what did it.